celebrating and showcasing extraordinary people who are doing incredible things to make our world a better place. This is Close Up Television. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and thanks for joining us. On today's episode, we celebrate Rhonda Farrah. In more than 25 years as a practicing educational counselor and psychotherapist, Rhonda has consulted with clients and companies in a variety of industries and environments. She's applied her experience in education as a coach, author, speaker, and teacher, specializing in health and wellness empowerment in all aspects of life. As a speaker, Rhonda has proved to be a highly articulate and effective communicator, recognized for her creativity, and a visionary who sees the big picture. Her imaginative flair has served others and earned her recognition as a resource person, problem solver, and creative leader. Rhonda is blessed in that she excels in developing and presenting seminars and classes based on a balanced lifestyle, all including her key areas of experience, ranging from human dynamics and development, motivation, to spiritual awareness and development. As a practicing lifestyle empowerment coach, Rhonda assists individuals in empowering themselves as well as those that surround them, thus actualizing their health and wellness goals and objectives on both personal and professional levels. Rhonda has demonstrated her talent for motivating, encouraging, and leading individuals in a positive direction for betterment and empowerment. Rhonda's creative endeavors are dedicated to individual empowerment and the conscious evolution of humankind, so that we may align perfectly with our Creator, fulfilling our purpose while enjoying its process, all culminating in a collective consciousness for the highest and best good of all. That's really important. Sounds pretty terrific, doesn't it? To learn more about Rhonda's incredible work, she joins me today in the Close Up Television studios for this exclusive interview. Rhonda, thanks for joining us here at Close Up Television. We had an extraordinary conversation on Close Up Radio. I said, we've got to bring you here to the TV studio to explore more because I was fascinated by our conversation. Welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And yes, I totally agree with you. We had a wonderful radio interview. We had a conversation.
That's
conversation with Rhonda and Jim.
Okay. Absolutely. I call them conversations, not interviews, because it's more relatable and it's deeper and it's warmer. And I think people are looking for that more, the relatability factor when they have conversations. So we're going to expand on that and learn a little bit more about you and your extraordinary passion for what you do. I want to start from sort of the beginning. What inspired you initially in your own life's journey to do this work that you're doing now?
Okay, well, what I didn't say in the radio interview was when I was a kid, I used to watch the Bob Newhart show.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And Bob Newhart was a psychologist, and Suzanne Plachette was his wife, and I loved that show. So early on, I decided I wanted to go into the psychology field and see clients, which I did. And that's the short version of it. But as you probably know by now, and our listeners from radio, I grew up on the East Coast in Connecticut in a traditional household and family, largely. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers and 1 sister. And again, traditional when I say I had a stay-at-home mom and I had a dad who preferred mom stay at home. So that all worked really well. And I lived in a extended family. And some people can still relate to that, where it was parents, children, my grandparents, aunts, great aunts, and at one point there was 13 people all together.
Yes, that's the way it was.
Yes, that's exactly the way it was, you know. And it was a time where I knew how to become a nurturer. I was in that household of 13. And the oldest of the 3 brothers and 1 sister. And with that came this sense of not just love, but this sense of truly looking out for one another. And long story short, again, that brought me to wanting to be able to serve others, not just in my family, but in the world, in the community, and now the world. So that's, again, a short version of it. I have a background, as you know, in counseling and educational psychology and sociology, and I'm a member of the International Coaching Federation. So I went from being a psychotherapist to being a coach in 2005, because at that point in my life I decided I really think that the client should take responsibility for changing their life. And I truly believe that it's only us that can do that, has to take responsibility regardless of what's happening in our lives. And other than that educational background, that professional background, I also have been through several personal challenges that have paved the way to me doing what I'm doing. And some of those challenges have been incarceration, breast cancer, divorce, a couple, and financial mess up, ruin in some cases.
Yeah.
So all of that has contributed to me doing what I do, because I firmly believe, Jim, that it's the joys in our life as well as the sorrows, the challenges, the struggles, all the adversity, all the crap and more in our life that contributes to who we are and can serve to empower us, which is what I do. I'm a lifestyle empowerment alchemist. I'm a coach, an author, and a speaker. So all of that combined has put me in the arena that I'm in and doing what I'm doing to help others. And in the process, it helps me, it heals me, and it makes me the best I can be to help others be the best that they can be, to live the life that they desire versus living life in default mode. And I call default mode just that, settling for less,
just an automatic,
year after year.
existence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by living by your limiting beliefs, not attending to the agenda of your soul, as I call it. So, and I was there. I was stuck. I was stuck in living life in default mode. Everything was going wrong in my life. Everything was clogged. I was stuck, and so I needed to go and do something to declutter myself, to get unstuck, so that I could make room for what needs to come into Rhonda's life to be empowered.
Right.
And so that's how it happened.
Incredible. That's a fascinating story, Rhonda. How did you, any one of those things that you mentioned that you personally dealt with and went through, which are teachable moments for any of us, any one of those could have knocked somebody for a loop and just caused them to retreat. How did you find the fortitude and resilience within that you were able to call upon to get through those trials and tribulations that you had to deal with in your own life?
Well, that's what it was. It was going within. And when I decided I needed to go within, I also decided I needed a coach to help me go within. So the coach went and got a coach, which is not unusual. I still have a coach for things in my business, things that I want to sort out in one respect or another. And that confirmed for me that I was on the right track. Continue to go within, because we have so many questions within us. I know I did, but I also know that the answers are within us. And what needed to happen is whatever sense of self, my sense of purpose or otherwise, that was misplaced, lost, whatever you want to call it, needed to be regained. And in order that it needed to be regained, those pieces, those layers, I call it the onion skin, needed to be peeled away. And my sense of self emerged.
Yeah.
And that is how I got unstuck. And that is why today I am dedicated to awakening hearts, minds, especially spirit, to our innate power, our authentic power from within, which we all have, that will indeed assist us. Actually, it's essential to living the life that we desire, to stop settling for less, to understand our magnificence, and live that life the very best that we can. And in so doing, we're not only influencing ourselves, but we're influencing all of those who surround us and influence us.
So many levels, too.
Yes, so many levels.
So what would you say to somebody saying, oh, gee, that sounds all fantastic, but it's like a Hallmark movie. It will never happen to me. I always have things go south. Everything goes wrong. I don't think I can do it. Their self-worth is pretty much low, and they're valuing themselves as not really that high. What would you say to somebody like that?
Well, I would say that, well, if that's what you believe, whether you want to call it limiting or toxic or negative or dark, whatever, if that's what you believe, then you're right. If you believe, however, that you're better than that, and stop settling for less, then that is indeed what you will attract. That's what you will create. But it takes some work, and it also takes the responsibility of understanding that whatever it is, I know in my case, I take that responsibility, and that's what I teach. Take the responsibility for what is coming forward. We all call it forward, whatever it is. It's the good and the not so good, and then some. Because I know we might not be able to say something on television. Okay, so we all call it forward. Take responsibility for that and understand that we called it forward for a reason. That's that little subconscious mind saying, no, you need this. You need to learn something about yourself. So here you go. Here's an event, a circumstance, a situation. So you can learn something about yourself. So you can learn the lessons to become empowered, to not get thrown under the bus. Take the good and the not so good and let it serve you.
Right.
So that you can not only serve yourself, but you can serve others by letting others know that they are not alone.
That's very important. That's a beautiful thing. And I think when people realize that, it really opens up a fantastic Pandora's box of possibility, right?
It does.
And hope.
And hope. And again, we are all in this together. So let's all take some ownership, some responsibility for being on this path together that we've so been graciously so placed on together.
That's incredible. You know, some people, you mentioned the psychotherapist background and then transitioning into the coach. Some people who maybe aren't as familiar with the work of each think maybe that it's all the same thing. It's all therapy. It's all... Tell us about the uniqueness. I think it's great that you have that background that you've had, because that adds elements. You're going to come from different approaches when working with your clients to meet their needs. But the coach aspect is something special as well. Tell us about how unique the coaching is in addition to the work you've done previously.
Yes, I'd be happy to. And I'm glad you brought that up. As a psychotherapist and my training, okay, we all have our toolboxes as psychotherapists. I also have a toolbox as a coach. But as a psychotherapist, I sat with a client and talked about largely what was going wrong, okay, in their life. And sometimes that was 10 or 20 years of stuff going wrong for them. And, I think it helped others. Two things happened. It really wasn't serving them for their highest and best good or something better, so they could serve for the highest and best good of all concerned. It wasn't serving me, because I was becoming very debilitated by taking on, as the nurturer, other people's
traumas
stuff.
And issues.
Right. Okay. So that segued for me to become the coach. As a coach, yes, I have my toolbox, the training in psychotherapy, and those experiences are invaluable. They're priceless, and I can use those. But I realized that it was actually the client's responsibility. So when I'm speaking with a client or I'm speaking with an audience or otherwise, as I'm doing today, it is not my right nor my obligation to want for someone what they do not want for themselves. That's where we begin in the coaching field. Here's where you are. Where would you like to be? And here are some tools that can help you get there. Here is your homework for the week. Let's come back and talk about where you are now after a week. So that is totally energizing to me. I think you can tell that.
Yes.
It's a passion. It's energizing to me to help others help themselves. Can't do it for them. whether it's your children or whether it's your client or whether it's whoever. One must want for themselves before anyone can help themselves. And that's a choice. How do we choose? I call them divine right clients, divine right audiences. Those who choose to be as healthy, as fit, and as trim in body, in mind, in spirit, financially, socially, in your love life, whatever it is, as can be. But you must choose. Then I can help you help yourself.
You know, some people expect that you will do everything for them, that you're going to give them all this information, but they don't have to do the work. They don't have to take the responsibility. And I think one of the beauties of what you do is you instill this hope, this passion, this positivity in them, as well as the methods and the techniques and, you know, the invaluable nuggets, so that when Rhonda's not on the phone or online or in the room with them, they can call upon some of the things that you offered up for them. So when they're in a pickle or they're struggling with something or they're questioning something, oh, that's right, I remember Rhonda mentioned that if I look at it this way, or if I try to handle it this way or approach it this way, they can call upon the richness of the information that you have as a facilitator, as a conduit, imparted with them. So they take the responsibility for their decisions, their actions, for their life, but they can call upon what you've given as far as the guidance, as opposed to hoping and expecting Rhonda to live their life and do the work. Sometimes you've probably experienced that with people where they think you have to answer every question for them when they should do that, and you give them the tools to be able to do it effectively, right?
You're absolutely correct. And one point I'll make is, even though I do this, and I'm very good at what I do, I am not immune to adversity, to struggle, to challenge, or otherwise. On a daily basis.
You're a human being.
I'm a human being. I have a great life. I'm a very joyful, happy person. I've been in those pickles of situations, as you say, but I found the blessings and the gifts in all of those situations. And that is what I impart to a client, to an audience, to a group. And I think the satisfaction that can be gained if clients, if audiences realize that, no, they have that power within them and they can do this. You may have to pivot. I've become an excellent pivoter. I'll teach you how to pivot, and if you use these tools. But I've come across clients that someone who was struggling with a 20-plus year lousy relationship with her daughter, and she came to me, and after one session she said, "This is not working." And I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. How long did it take for you to have this situation, this lousy relationship with your daughter?" "Oh, it took years, you know." And I go, "So you expect," I said, "I'm good, but let me tell you what, you must do the work."
Right.
The answers are within you, and you must do the work.
You can't hold their hand,
No,
right?
she was a short-lived client. Okay, that was not a divine right client. And when I was into mostly the physical and how the emotional affects the physical, whether it's ill-being or well-being, because that's scientifically proven. Your emotions, here, what you feel in your heart, what you feel in your heart is going to provide for your thoughts, and your thoughts provide your external world.
Right.
Okay, so I had a client that was over 150 pounds, overweight, and of course, emotionally, food is something that's a comfort area. So the more food that she had, the more comfortable she would feel in every area of her life. Until she had some major health issues. And she said to me one day, again, but it was after a month or so, "This isn't working." And I said, "How long did it take you to gain 150 pounds? And once again, she said, "Oh my God, it's been years."
Build up,
Build up. And I said, "Listen, again, I'm good. However, you must do the work." And she stuck with me, and she lost over 100 pounds. And we had some great results together, because this woman, when I had the office, actually, and she wouldn't come out of the house. She was afraid we'd do it on the telephone at that point. And I said to her, for 1 week till we meet next week, walk from your driveway to get the mail. I don't think I could do it. I said, yeah, you can. I believe that you can. She did it. Got on the phone the next week. She said, I can't believe it, but I lost 5 pounds. I said, that's because you moved. And that's because your heart and your mind said, maybe I should try this. What if I got to lose? You may not have known you were saying that exactly, but you did. So we had some excellent results.
That's fantastic.
That is satisfying to me because I get to help people get the results that they want, if they choose to, if they're invested in it. If you're not invested in it.
You basically transitioned her from food for numbing to food for thought.
Correct. I like that, Jim. That was great.
Write that down.
I'm going to write that.
You can use it.
May I use it? Thank you.
You know, you're passionate, obviously, about a lot of things. What are some of the things that you're most passionate about? And obviously, people can learn a lot from you and from your expertise. Tell us a little bit about some of that, the passion that you have for the work you do.
Again, it's to awaken hearts and minds to that innate power within them. And it's the inside job.
Yeah,
and if you believe you can do it, you can do it. I mean, look at it this way. You've heard this before. Look at the little acorn. Acorn falls to the ground and now becomes an oak tree. The chick is in its shell, in the egg, okay, and it breaks out, and it's magnificent. It grows from a chick to a hen or a rooster and moves on with its life. And that's what we can do. We all do it,
right?
But sometimes we don't pat ourselves on the back. We slip into that default mode, that limiting belief mode, and we just like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm not enough. This will never happen. I mean, how many times have all of us done that?
All the time, yeah.
It will happen. It will happen if you believe it will happen, and not just believe, know, but then you have to take some steps. It's called inspired action. You have to, as we say in the transformation business when it comes to affirmative prayer, you do a prayer treatment, treat and meet your feet, move your feet. Treat, meet, and move your feet now, okay? How many people pray and pray and pray? And then they get these signs in front of them. This is happening, or that is happening, or they have a thought, or they have an emotion. They don't follow it. That's called taking inspired action, divine right action. And you will move on to the next step. It's simple, okay? But it's not easy, all right?
Right. It takes time to get to the point of really...
And let's face it, Jim, we live in an immediate gratification
everything
society.
Is instantaneous.
I like things right away, too, but you got to put in the work. You have to put in the effort, and you must know and you must believe that you have that power within you to do it. Some people, I call it my godling self, not my earthling self, not merely my earthling self. Whether you call it the universe, divine, spirit, source, God, that it's there. It's there. We own it. It's our magnificence.
Right. And sometimes I guess we have to also shut off the outside world, the commentary, the noise that comes in from the outside world. You're not good enough. You can't do it. Don't even try it. Don't even think about it. You hear all of those voices that come in from can come from family, friends, colleagues. That and also chasing what other people are doing. You know, we have social media now, we have all these other things where people are wanting to live that other person's life because their photos look so terrific of their weekend vacation or something. So there's all of these factors of the outside voices penetrating, trying to size up who you are, telling you, putting you in a box and saying, well, you're that, and you're only going to be that, and you've always been that, and that's it. And then those who are chasing celebrity or chasing a lifestyle that other people are living, whether they're really happy or not, because you don't know, they're just posting nice pictures, as opposed to taking, the reins for their own existence and celebrating that.
Exactly. Celebrating their magnificence and who they are. You made an interesting point. The people who say, "Oh, you'll never do it. It'll never happen." Are you joking? Come on. Who do you think you are? That's
Waste
not
of time.
Waste of time, right? Those I call them. They're the rain on your parade people, and there's a whole bunch of them around.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even realize that they're in the mix. But they're in the mix for a reason. We called them forth to gain some stamina, to gain some strength. I truly, truly know that. Not just believe it. I know it. I know those particular people in my life, now they're trying to dissuade me, you know. The little person on this side says, "Oh, no, you'll never do it." The person on this side says, "Are you joking? You have that power within you. Look, what do you do? What do you teach? Come on." Oftentimes I've become my best client, you know, to
Right.
be the best that I
Exactly.
can be. So, and that's all getting out of comfort zone, which we will discuss, I'm sure,
Yes,
during
right,
this interview.
Because you do need to do that.
You do need to do that.
You do need to do that.
So, just like the acorn, just like the little chick, that power is within us. If we choose to identify it, to be aware of it, and to take inspired action with what we can do with that.
And don't be so concerned with what everybody else is doing, keeping up with the Joneses and following what everybody else is wearing and doing and living, trying to live their life or match their life.
Exactly. Or people pleasing.
Or
Or being afraid of rejection.
Yes.
I mean, I've had clients who have done all their life, whatever it is that they have done, to please, whether
Others.
it's parents, whether it's, as you said, colleagues or otherwise, friends, loved ones, you know.
Accept
it's
themselves.
Accept themselves, because they are afraid of being rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it all begins here. It begins with self-care and self-love. And if you can do that, you will gain the acceptance. If you accept yourself, you're going to gain the acceptance of others.
Right, because oftentimes they're so busy trying to please others, get the acceptance of others, the love of others, that they reject themselves.
Yes. They reject themselves, they lose themselves.
Yeah.
I did.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I misplace myself a little
Right.
now, but
Right.
I, have the ability, because I know I do. Oh, I come back.
To come back.
Okay.
Full
come
circle, right.
back. Yeah.
Everybody has a message. Do you have a specific message that you want viewers and your clients to experience?
I mentioned it briefly before, attending to the agenda of your soul. What are you passionate about? What is your heart saying? Because again, it will determine your thoughts, and that will determine your external world. And I think people can learn several things from me. I know I'm vulnerable enough to be able to talk about how things must fall apart in order to fall together. Out of chaos comes order. I have many chaotic things in my life. I still do. But order comes to it because I take that deep breath, I understand my power from within, and then I take inspired action with whatever it is. Whether it's a conversation, whether it's moving back across the country to be with my family, whether it's terminating toxic relationships, not just marriages, but terminating toxic, dark relationships because I was trying to please people. I was afraid of rejection. Let me tell you what, I like myself, okay? I love people, but I like myself as well. And understanding that is essential. If there's anything to gain from you and I talking today from this conversation, understand that loving yourself, taking care of yourself is the best thing you can ever do. Being the best you can be makes you available for others to be the best for them if they choose to be the best for themselves.
One of the things I like too is living in an empowered life. And you call it my Lifestyle Empowerment formula.
The formula.
Tell us about this formula.
The Lifestyle Empowerment Formula. If you choose to live an empowered life, I do have a formula for you. Gratitude plus forgiveness. Gratitude plus forgiveness equals, remember, this is a formula. Remember, I'm an alchemist. I work with the good and the not so good. So here's a formula for putting the good and the not so good together. Gratitude plus forgiveness equals the life that you desire, equals gratitude plus forgiveness equals an empowered life and lifestyle. Gratitude plus forgiveness equals living the life that you desire versus living life in default mode, settling for less, and going with your limiting beliefs rather than your magnificence from within. How about talking a little bit about that formula?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the formula. How do you know? Do you understand what gratitude is, Jim? If I said, what's gratitude?
It's very important, yes. Being grateful for the things in your life and the experiences and the people. And one of the things that I enjoy is being grateful for the simple things in life.
Yes.
Because those are the ones that tend to stick around, that are always there. Gratitude is something that I know a lot of people are talking about now, but I've always been grateful for everything, and I've expressed it. I think it's important when you have gratitude and you're grateful to express it, to let others know that you're grateful, that you appreciate what's been said, done, whatever's happened, maybe something that they have facilitated for you. I think it's very important because sometimes we don't get enough of the positive feedback. People are quick to give you the negative when they don't like something or they want to judge or criticize something. But when you're grateful, I think you should also share that gratitude.
Well, to share it, one must be aware of it. First and foremost.
And that's where you come in.
That's where I come in.
You do the part one.
With me, too. And I
express part two, but you do the part, you help people get to. Yeah, so, how does one do that? You would figure there isn't just a magic, easy button that you switch. Okay, they're not somebody who understands and appreciates gratitude, and all of a sudden they just press a button and become that type of person. How do you work with people who have never really experienced it?
And how do you work with people that in these still unprecedented times, we're still in a pandemic, we're in economic uncertainty.
So much going on.
Political uncertainty.
Violence, war.
Violence, everything in between. How do you find the gift and the blessing to say, oh, I'm grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful that this came my way. Okay, during COVID, COVID is still existing, but many people have pressed that reset button and they said, okay, what's really important in my life? Mm-hmm. And they've selected those priorities.
They've been given a gift of a second option,
Yeah, there is an option B. And if option B doesn't work, guess what? There's an option C, too, and beyond. You said express gratitude, and you started. Yeah, how do we express gratitude? If we took 60 seconds right now, two things. What would you be thankful for? Yourself, your life, your friends, your family, your coffee or tea in the morning, the flowers, the birds. Take it one step further with respect to expressing. 95% of us learn visually. It's essential, I feel, I know.
I'm very visual.
Yeah. Essential to write it down. I happen to do it at night. If I don't do it at night, I do it first thing in the morning. You've heard of a gratitude journal. Thanks for this day. I am thankful for all this happened. Okay. I am thankful for that I got out of my comfort zone and did this TV shoot today. I am thankful for I rode a quad, you know those things, at 64. As a matter of fact, I'm 64 today.
Happy birthday.
Thank
birthday
you.
Girl here.
Thank you. I rode a quad with one of my young nephews who coaxed me. And he finally said, Siti. Siti is grandmother. And he calls me Siti. Sometimes he calls me Auntie.
Auntie, yeah.
Okay? You're always talking about getting out of your comfort zone. And I knew what was coming. I said, let me put my shoes on. And I got on the quad and I rode it for several rounds. And I said, you know, I just got out of my comfort zone to myself.
What did it do for you? What were you left with?
At first, if you looked at the pictures, there was a picture of terror on my face.
In the beginning,
In
right?
the beginning.
Because you still weren't out of that comfort zone
I
yet,
wasn't
right?
yet out. When I made the second round, I was like, I might as well have had wings on. I was smiling and otherwise. Because I got out of my
He gave you a gift.
He gave me a gift. And that's the whole thing. To be able to bless others blesses me. So you know how it is with what you do.
Right.
You're giving others a gift with respect to these interviews and otherwise. And helping them get out of their comfort zone so that they can influence other people in a positive way. All the people that they surround and influence are now influenced in a positive way because they get to talk about, they get to come out of that acorn, they get to come out of that shell like the chick and be able to positively influence others by showing that they're a vulnerability. Don't you think a chick isn't vulnerable?
Sure, yeah.
Cracking out. Oh,
yeah. What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening?
What's this new world I'm in here?
Yeah, what is happening? So it's very important to be able to write it down and to list those things.
And that's part of this formula?
That's part of the formula. The second part of the formula is forgiveness. Okay. Remember, gratitude plus forgiveness will equal what you want. I mean, there's steps in between, but that's the formula. Gratitude plus forgiveness. So forgiveness.
One of the tougher ones for people to...
It's a tough one. Okay, that's a tough one. I know in my heart of hearts, if one cannot forgive themselves for whatever's happened in their life, don't plan on forgiving anyone else.
Right.
At least truly.
Right.
So, I'm a big advocate of exercises. I'm a big advocate right now. You know, you write things down. I'll give you a little exercise with respect to forgiveness. So, I would like you to write a letter to someone that you admire, someone that you appreciate, that you like, that you love, that those qualities have made an impression in a positive direction on your life. And then I would like you to mirror that letter, which means I would like you to write that letter to yourself. And it may begin something like this. Dear self, I've been meaning to write to you for quite some time. First of all, how are you?
Checking in, yeah.
Checking in. I want to tell you how much I love you, I admire you, I appreciate you. And self, I know that you didn't mean to hurt me when, and fill in that blank, when you said those awful things to me. You know, when you stole, lied, cheated on me and otherwise. I know you didn't mean it. And I forgive you for that. Now understand, you don't have to send this letter, but you must write it. Not digitally, write it in your handwriting. And that will put you on the road. Write it to yourself first. That's why I advocated that, because you must forgive yourself before you can forgive another. Then, once you've proceeded that far, write a letter to someone you never forgave for some not so good stuff that they may have done to you.
Yeah.
Write that letter. You don't have to mail it. Write the letter. It's essential with respect to this formula of living an empowered life. And also remember that non-forgiveness, the ability to not be able to forgive self or others, that ability, inability, all right?
Yeah.
It's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Yeah.
Definition of insanity.
Yeah.
So gratitude plus forgiveness will put you on the way to living an empowered life, an empowered lifestyle.
And living
in an authentic way too, right? Authenticity is another very important part of this equation, isn't it?
Authenticity is. I live and breathe authenticity, okay? I not only teach it, I live it and I breathe it. It's essential for me to be authentic. When I talk about vulnerability, I talked about many subjects in my life, crap that has happened, that puts me in that vulnerable state, okay? So here's some qualities of living life authentically. Wholeness. We are perfect, whole, and complete just the way we are. Okay. 50 pounds overweight, you're perfect, whole, and complete. You're everything in between just the way you are. Your magnificence is just the way you are. All right? I mean, I've had clients who are in wheelchairs. Tremendously thinking they are not perfect, whole, and complete. You said it before. I'm not like this person. I'm not like that person. I can't run, jump, play. Okay. You're perfect, whole, and complete just the way you are because you have a message. Mm-hmm. You have a message that says to others in probably those same situations and beyond, okay, that not only are you perfect, whole, and complete just the way you are, I want you to know that you are not alone. Because look at me, and look what I'm doing. I'm standing up in front of a group of people that think they are not perfect, whole, and complete, even if they're not in a wheelchair.
Right.
And letting them understand you are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way you are. So again, authenticity is that wholeness. It's reverence, okay, respectfulness. It's fearlessness. The ability to be bold and courageous. We're all bold and courageous with respect to stuff that's happened to us, that not so good stuff. Not only have we come out of that empowered, but we're understanding it even to a greater level, that being bold and courageous erases the fear. You know what fear is false evidence appearing real.
Right, exactly.
False evidence appearing real. Integrity, again, respect. It is a characteristic. It's an essential. It's the definition of authenticity. Equanimity. Okay, that state of calmness, even though everything is chaotic, even though oh my God, the unknown, oh my God, look what's happening to me. Look what's happening to me. This is not good. This is not so good. Understand that it's these challenging and difficult situations bring us right back down. Where is the calm in this? Where the hell is the blessing and the gift in this? The blessing and the gift is to understand there is a blessing in the gift. You may have to search a little bit for it, but there is a blessing and there's a gift. And authenticity, love. Okay. Are you a loving person? Do you love? I love everybody. I don't like people sometimes. I don't like their behavior.
Right. You can love but not like.
Right. You don't have to like. That's where the forgiveness comes in. I forgive you for A, B, and C that led to X, Y, and Z. Forgive you for that because I didn't like those behaviors. But I do love you as a person. Right. And I would mention one more thing with respect to forgiveness. To forgive, it doesn't mean you go back down to being hurt or used as a doormat. You move on. Forgive. But there's something about not forgetting certain things. If you do, you probably get sucked back in with your limiting beliefs, your people-pleasing, your sense of I'm afraid of being rejected, and you will be doomed to live what happened to you. Mm-hmm. In the past, you'll be doomed to live it now or in the present, the future. Yeah. So that's all that authentic self, that whatever is happening, the chaos, the drama, the fear, the commotion, understand that you can still be your authentic self. Again, attend to the agenda of your soul, not just the external world. What's going on in here? That's your authenticity. And don't let anyone take that from you.
You often refer to life beginning and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, Rhonda, when we get out of that comfort zone.
Yes.
Let's explore that a little more.
Okay, one of my favorite authors, Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh. He says life begins at the end of our comfort zone. In many ways, he says that. And so the comfort zone thing, whether it's riding a quad at 64 years old, you know, the day before I'm supposed to be on a TV shoot, okay, what am I going to break before that?
I was going to say, yeah.
What am I going to break?
See any injury?
No, no injuries. And even this is a stretch. This is a stretch. I'm out of my comfort zone. Okay, how many times have I talked, oh, I need to go on camera? I mean, I do a lot of radio interviews.
Right.
I want to be on camera,
right,
and I don't do it. That's out of my comfort zone. Well, today, thanks to you and Close Up Television Radio Network, I am out of my comfort zone, and I'm loving it, okay? I think you know I'm loving it by now.
Absolutely.
So
you were before we even started.
I was pretty good, yeah.
And hopefully I created comfort. You know, sometimes I've noticed, and it comes naturally for me, that when I see somebody is toying with their comfort zone, like they want to be led out of the comfort zone,
yes.
Sometimes you can actually help people come out of it, like the quad situation where
yes.
he said, why don't you give this a shot? Because you always talk about comfort zone. I can recognize easily when if I trigger something or if I create this scenario of comfort, it allows almost creating a comfort zone for the person to come out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
And hopefully we did that.
Absolutely. You're very calm, and you're a very calming person, and you're a very engaging person. So, but not only engaging with what you say or what you ask, you've got that, I call it aura, about you. And there was definitely, there's a camaraderie, there was a rapport built, you know, you're from Connecticut, I'm from Connecticut. It's kind of like, okay, we took it from there. I'm also a big believer in there are no accidents, happenstance, or coincidence. Okay. I was led to do this to get out of my comfort zone. And not only was I led to do this, all the markers were in front of me.
You were ready.
I was ready, because why wouldn't you do it? Geez, you can visit your family. You can stay extra. You can come to Connecticut, where this is being filmed, and do this. Okay, so I could have said, no, I'm choosing not. Sure. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Right.
One of your producers said to me, are you ready for the next step? I immediately said yes, and I hung up the phone and said, what have I done?
Questioning
right.
your own.
I started,
right.
but then I got out of there.
And said,
I definitely got out of there.
With this energy that's here now, right?
So you contributed to that, and thank you for that. Thank you. Comfort zone is amazing. You know, when we're in our 20s, oh, we'll do this or we'll do that. You know, we're young. And sometimes we do things because we're immature in our 20s, or we don't have the maturity that we have when we're in our 60s and 40s, 50s, or 60s. But it's okay. Then we hit 30. Okay? And 30, situations, circumstances, opportunities present themselves to us. And maybe we're not ready for the stretch. That's a bit of a stretch. Can't do it. So sorry. And anyway, I'm only 30. I got my whole life
to do that.
I got my whole life to do whatever that opportunity was. So then we dismiss that momentary regret, that opportunity, and we slide right back in to the comfort zone. Okay, that's out of the way. Oh, I didn't do it. I'm so glad I didn't do it. This self-talk is going on. And then in another 10 or 20 or more years, okay, trust and believe, I know, of this I am certain, 10, 20, 30 more years goes by, okay? And we have another reason, we have another opportunity to consider. And then are we going to do it? We're going to do it. For me, it was realizing I don't want to play small anymore. I don't want to play small. And this is not just because of a TV shoot. I don't want to play small in my life anymore. I don't want to settle.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Right.
settle for relationships I shouldn't settle
Been
for.
there, done that.
Yep, been there, done that. I don't want to settle for business opportunities that I should not have been involved with. I don't want to make any more poor choices.
Now it's about Rhonda.
It's about Rhonda. It's about Rhonda. And take it however you will. I'm doing Rhonda now. And I invite our viewers to do it for themselves. Do whatever it is. Even if you just have that talk with yourself.
With yourself, right? It's so important, and it's vital. You know what I mean?
It's vital, and no matter what your age, it's never too late.
Exactly.
It's never too late. Rather, that you can still go full mode into living a life that you desire versus settling for less. You know, how many people viewing today have said, well, I always wanted to have this business. I always wanted to travel to this country. How about getting out of your own backyard? Okay, I always wanted to have a real partnership, a life partner who is reciprocal. You know, what I give, they give. You know, I give
automatic,
100%. And I don't believe in 50-50 in relationships or anything. You better bring 100%. You're going to need it, because then you got 200% between the two of you, and you will have a successful relationship. So, and again, that getting out of the backyard is a big, I'm a homebody. Some people don't really, you must be crazy. You're so social. And I'm a homebody. I like being at home. I really like working at home now, too. And I like making a house a home. But there is in certain situations, I can do all that, but still get out of my backyard, still get out of my stinking thinking, my limiting beliefs, and do it even better. So, again, we go to that fear factor. We go to our minds. Our minds are a tremendous tool for creating what we want or what we don't want.
Yes.
And oftentimes that's where I start with clients. Well, what do you want? I don't know. Can you guess? I don't know. Okay, well, what don't you want? What don't you want? And that's how we arrive at what they want.
So that's how, take us through like an example of an initial session with somebody. Do you do a critical assessment? How does it work in the beginning?
As a psychotherapist, we called it an intake. Now I offer 30 minutes. Okay, talk to me on camera, or video, whatever you call it these days.
Yeah.
Or in person, in some cases, or on the telephone. And the first question I ask is, what brought you here today? What do you mean? Just what I said. What brought you here today? Was it the fact that I offered you 30 minutes free of charge? Partly. I said, okay, so there's a bigger part of what brought you here today. And then the onion skin begins to get peeled away. And that's where we begin. Now, they could still at that point, and I will say, when you say assessment, well, I'd like to help you. This is my purpose in our relationship if you become a client and I become your coach. This is my purpose. And these are my expectations for you. And then they will choose.
And they'll make the choice, right.
And,
That's important.
And I put that right out in front. Believe me.
Yeah.
As much as I want for you what you just said you want, because we arrived at that,
Yeah.
if you don't want it for yourself, I cannot help you.
There's only so much
I
you can
cannot
do.
help you help yourself.
Right.
If you do not want that for yourself. If you are ready to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm done settling for less. I'm done. Whatever the situation is in a bad relationship, I'm done being used as a doormat. I'm done being used by my boss. I'm done, being 50 pounds overweight and being deathly afraid of what this doctor's diagnosis has told me. I'm done with all that. I'm ready. Okay. It's like when your producer said, Are you ready? And I said, yes. I said, I'm ready. So whatever the fears are, whatever brought me to what I'm doing, okay, it's not just educational background. It's not just watching the Bob Newhart show from a young age when he was a psychologist.
Even the reruns are great.
The reruns are great, right? It's that I knew that within me something needed to come out, but I wasn't ready. My sense of self was somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I took some debilitating situations and circumstances to say, okay, I'm ready. You know, we all get it. Again, I call it God, my godling self. We get these thoughts, we dismiss them. Okay.
Sure.
We get the little pebbles thrown at us.
Right.
Nah.
But look what happens when you take the pebble and throw it in a lake. That ripple effect.
The ripple. So, you know, you will eventually get to where you're supposed to be, whether it's this lifetime or another. And I do believe that. And again, I don't believe that people who are not ready should make believe they're ready in order to please someone else or be afraid of rejection.
Right.
But it sure feels good to step out of the comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
It sure feels good to step out of the comfort zone. And that's, again, life is supposed to be fun and easy, not a struggle. Okay, but there are struggles in life.
Sure.
But they are for our benefit. If you buy that, a lot of people don't buy that. Okay.
Learning experiences, teachable moments.
Took a lot for me to buy it. Okay, but I'm in.
When you're in the thick of it,
yeah,
it's
when
like,
you're,
I'm not learning here.
What the heck am I doing
I
here?
think I've learned. Now let's move on.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so stepping out of your comfort zone will change everything. Of this I am certain, this I know. It will change everything. It will change a little bit or maybe a lot of bit.
Right, exactly. You just have to be able to,
put the pebble,
seize that
as you said.
opportunity, right?
Put the pebble and see where the ripples go.
Best investment you can do in life is in yourself.
Right.
Absolutely. What are some of the things you think, how do you describe your particular coaching style? And what are some of the things that make you unique?
Number one, that I can be vulnerable and let people understand, been there, done that, whatever it is. Health-wise, incarceration, lousy relationships, which I thank every lousy marriage I was in, because it wasn't lousy, there was gifts and blessings. This last one, I learned my sense of self, my worth.
You were a pleaser?
Yes, I was a pleaser, and I wasn't, I guarantee you, if I was still in that place, I would not be sitting here.
Yeah, right.
I would not be sitting here today, because it was a place where my sense of self was being smothered.
Yeah.
But I have a lot to be thankful for, because if I hadn't been in that place,
You would never.
I wouldn't. I said enough is enough. Okay, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Here I come, coming across the country to be back in Connecticut.
This is what makes you relatable to your clients, because you can understand some of the issues and some of the things they bring forward as far as the experiences that they're going through in their life, because you've been there.
And I will never ask a client or expect of a client what I would never ask or expect of myself. Mm-hmm. And that's invaluable. So, you know, when that's the mindset. And then I got to get to what's their mindset? What's going on with them? Okay. But I'll go first. I'll tell you what my mindset is. Let me help you understand what mindset is. And then something that you just said made me think
Triggered
of
it.
this. Trigger.
Right.
I got the trigger. So, and of course I always ask, would you like to work with that trigger? Are you ready for that? Now that you said enough is enough and you understand, you know, what you'd like to do and what you want, are you ready to go there? Mm-hmm. We're going to go there together. But are you ready to go there? I'm going to help you make this shift regardless of what's going on in your life. And it's another thing, too. I mean, I could see clients for, 3 to 6 months, and they'll say, oh, I'm doing all the right things. Let me remind you again. Doing all the right things, Rhonda, but all this crap is still happening in my life, and I'm anxious, and blah, blah, blah. I go, you're making the shift. This is what's happening. When you're doing all the right stuff, but still seemingly negative things are happening to you, you're making a shift. If there was nothing going on, if you're still in neutral, okay, the shift is still in neutral there. Literally, the gear shift is still in neutral. Nothing's happening. You're making the shift.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's movement like that, it means something is happening.
Yeah.
Something is emerging, like the chick and the acorn. It's emerging.
It's emerging.
Again. So, and I don't work with a lot of people. And I prefer audiences. I used to have my own radio show and did that. And I prefer that venue. I definitely prefer in person.
Yeah.
And being guests and otherwise.
Yeah.
But I love people that want to help themselves.
Do you have some success stories that you want to share of people you've worked with and you're able to help them through this expertise and this understanding of the human condition? You're able to help take them from point A to point B?
Yes, I do. Let me tell you about one in particular. Came to me in total disbelief that anything could be done with respect to her marriage. I said, okay, and she talked. She said, well, how do you feel about that? She was not in touch with feelings at all. Didn't, dragging it.
Yeah.
No, I asked you, how do you feel? Feeling words. Gave her some feeling words. Anger. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I'm pissed. I'm, this, that, or the other thing. Don't tell me what you want to do to him or what you wish would happen. Tell me how you feel. That's where we begin. Okay, after several months, I didn't have to ask, how do you feel? This happened this week. And I always ask clients, is your week, on a scale from 1 to 10, how was your week? It was only a 7. 7's pretty good.
7's not bad. That's a good starting
bad,
point.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, and we didn't start at 7, but it's 7, or it's 8.
Yeah.
I said, okay, great. And immediately, she said to me, this is how I felt. And I said, huh? She looked at me, what? Why are you saying that? I go, you have never offered how you felt. I usually have to drag it out of you. So to get someone in touch, this woman got in touch with how she was feeling. And I said something that changed her life. And that's a blessing for me. Did you realize that all this time that we've been speaking, you've never said you loved your husband? I don't think I do, she said. I said, how do you feel about him? She said, I don't even like him, because we talk about like and love it. I don't even like him. I said, well, this is what I'm offering to you. I'm not asking you to love or like him. But when you exude love and like, wherever it goes, you will get love and like back. You will get respect. You will get trust. You will get all that good stuff back. You may not get it from the person you're thinking that you're going to get it from, because she definitely did not want to have a failed marriage.
Right.
It was the whole thing in the family. No, this cannot happen. And she's in her 30s. And she said, can you say that again? I said it. If you exude love and like, no matter where it's going, to the cashier at the grocery store, to whomever, to your nieces, to your nephews, to your parents, otherwise, you will attract love and like back to you. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get it from your husband. You may, but I'm not guaranteeing that. Bottom line is they amicably divorced. About a year later, she wasn't my client. She called me and she said, guess what happened? I go, do you want to tell me, or do you really want me to guess? Because I kind of know what happened. Right. And she told me, I have just, I truly believe, fallen in love for the first time in my life. I am getting the reciprocity. I'm getting what I exude out. Reciprocity and trust, in love, in like, in all of that. I'm getting it back from this dear man. And I said, so how do you feel? He said, I feel really good. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful that I did it. And I said, I'm very thankful and grateful that I suggested it. So that's a success story. There's some stories that are not successful because people don't want to do the work. She obviously did the work.
She did the work. Yes.
After an amicable divorce, she took all those pieces. She had a tune-up about every 6 weeks. I call it a tune-up with a consultation to check in, for me to hold her accountable. But it wasn't weekly sessions.
Right.
And I said, do you understand why this happened? And she said, yes. I understand why I feel happy now, because I did the work. Just doing the work will make you feel happy.
Just doing the work, right. Exactly.
And it's a process. The destination, she got to the destination, but the process was unbelievable for her. She got that relationship that she wanted, one of reciprocity.
Yeah.
But the process and how she felt, talk about empowering. I'm doing this work, and I'm putting in the time, I'm going inside, and that was, I'm not going to say more valuable, but I believe it is. It's more valuable than the destination.
Do you have a particular client? Is there a particular client that works with Rhonda, or you're working with all backgrounds, all ages, people that are dealing with lots of different situations in their lives?
The majority of people, I'm 64 years old. The majority of people that relate.
64, and you ride a quad.
That's right. I ride a quad. That's it.
So what, there's 64, and then there's 64 and ride
and
quads.
rides the quad. I think the particular type of client, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
It's definitely mostly women. I would say 45 and over, that have a myriad of stuff happening.
Yeah.
People that are not living the life that they want.
Right.
Okay, to live. If there's any particular client or if there's any particular audience, that's who I resonate with, and that seems to be who resonates with me and my style. Okay? I don't take a lot of notes. I'm on the feeling. If you don't want to feel, we may not be working together.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a stereotypic, let me put it that way. So people that I can energize and bless, and frankly, people that can energize and bless me. Because that's my self-care.
It's a full circle.
It's a full circle.
Yeah.
It's a full circle.
Relationship.
Yes.
Right. Trust also is really important, to establish trust at the outset between you and your client and you, right?
Absolutely. The trust, and that's why I begin. What brought you here?
Yeah.
Today?
Right.
What brought you here today? So, as you can tell, I'm passionate about what I do. As you can tell, I love divine right clients. I love divine right audiences. I love people who energize me. Because what I said earlier in this interview several times, when we can energize ourselves, when we can practice self-love and self-care, we're meant here to do that. I'm also going to go one step further. When it comes to practicing self-love and self-care, some people don't agree with that. Well, you're selfish. Selfishness is the most selfless thing you will do. It's like a tough love. When you have children, okay? You're doing this whether they believe it or not, and whether you feel guilty about having to do it when you practice tough love. I've been in that situation. Mm-hmm. When you practice self-love, tough love,
yeah,
it's better for everyone. My grandmother, God rest her soul, when she'd say no, and she indulged us, believe me, it's better you cry now than I cry later.
I like that, yeah.
Okay, was my grandmother, my Siddhi. So, again, mindset is important. Getting out of your fear and doubt zone is important. Letting things fall apart instead of trying to fix them, everything, so they can fall together.
Right.
Understanding who you are and what you are worth. That you are important, that you are a magnificent being.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, I can't, that sounds so boastful. That sounds so egotistical. And I do believe ego sometimes stands for edging God out. But it also, for me, stands for expressing God outstandingly.
Good way to look at it.
So, that's where I am. And
why do you love this work so much? Obviously you do. What are some of the great blessings and joys that it brings you to do this work as you help others?
The great blessings and joys that I truly believe that, and I am experiencing it, and I say this to audiences and clients. I'll say it to this audience right now, to you. Life is like ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts. Life is like ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts.
I like that.
And letting people understand that they're not alone. That we've all, in one way, situation or another, form or another, we've all been there, done that. You're not alone. You're not alone. I can help you not be a victim. Let's be the heroine. Let's be the hero of your story.
Right.
You don't need to be the victim. Because you're not a victim.
Right.
Even all stuff is happening. You can take the gifts and the blessings from that. And sometimes they're right there in front of all of us. And we don't see them because we're too caught up in the minutia that's going on.
Yeah,
Too
the
caught
little
up.
idiosyncrasies, those little, things that we sort of gravitate to and get hung up on, that we should just let go sometimes.
Let go.
Let go. That allows room for other things to come into your life, right, when you let go.
Absolutely. You remove from the proverbial plate what is not serving you. We've all been to the buffet, especially coming from the East Coast. I don't know if they're still like it today, but you go, you fill up your plate, by the time you get back, things have fallen off the plate, but you're filling them up with stuff that, maybe you really didn't want that.
But it looked good.
It looked good at the moment. So fill up your plate with only which is what you want.
Right.
What is serving you?
Right.
Is it a large piece of chocolate cake? Or is it shrimp and clams and sushi and everything else? And I'm also passionate about fish, so
I was going to say, it sounds good. More food for thought.
more food for thought.
That's fantastic. This has been amazing. This has
Thank
been
you.
really terrific. Is there any final message that you'd like to leave for our audience? And what would you say to somebody watching right now who loves this conversation, has learned a lot, it's inspired them, but they still are not sure about making that investment in themselves and putting that one foot in front of the other? What would you say to somebody they're maybe going through something right now that can be very tough, and they don't know how to rise from and through it?
I would say a couple of things. If you are, and largely you are, in struggle and challenge, first of all, thank you for coming today. Thank you for being with us today. And for hearing us today. Understand that whatever's falling apart in your life, something better will fall in place in your life. And in order for something better to come to you in your life, in order for you to live an empowered lifestyle in relationship, in your abundance, the least of which is financial abundance, but that's important, in your health, in your message to the world, in your purpose for being here, in your mission for being here. Whatever it is that you are going through, let it fall apart. Let it be removed from your proverbial plate so that something better can replace it. Nature abhors a vacuum, so something will come into your life, onto your plate. Enjoy that process. Yeah, I know it's painful at times. Trust me, been there, done that. I know. But you know this, because I didn't know early on. You know this. You are not alone. You are not alone. Reach out to someone. Someone.
Yeah.
Reach out to someone. Whether it's me, whether it's someone else, reach out to what's inside you, to your higher self. Whatever you call it. You call it God, you call it the universe, you call it source, you call it spirit, you call it divine. Whatever you call it, capital I-T. Reach within, because that's how you're reaching out to. That would be number one. Number two would be, just in case no one has told you today that they love you, I love you. Know that. And as you're remembering to have a tremendously magnificent and healthy day every day, remember to live life as if it was ice cream and enjoy it before it melts.
And breathe. Breathe from the diaphragm.
There's my aha breath. Thank you. Thank you.
Breathe from the diaphragm.
Breathe. Yes.
Not hypervent. We tend to hyperventilate a lot.
Yes.
Because we're always running and everything's breathe. Take some moments to breathe. Really important, right?
It is important. And as a distance runner for over 47 years, I know the importance of breathing. And I know the importance of not giving up.
And gratitude.
And gratitude. And forgiveness.
And forgiveness.
It's a toolbox.
Part of the formulas.
There's the toolbox.
Right. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
I knew that we'd make more magic.
I think we did.
Here
I
in the
think
TV
we
studio,
did.
expanding
Jim?
on what we did on the radio shows.
That's right.
I hope you enjoyed yourself and expressed yourself in the way that you wanted to connect with our viewers some more. And I wish you continued success. Obviously, you have found the real Rhonda through all of your experiences in life. And because you're so passionate and excited about Rhonda, you want to share that with everybody else in a way that I think is very life-changing and very relatable and impactful for others who might not be in a position where they're finding the essence of who they are right now. So this was amazing, and I really appreciate you coming to the TV studio and spending all this time with us and being so real and authentic yourself and sharing more of who you are and why you have this life's calling and mission to want to help people find really the essence of who they are.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been my pleasure, Jim. My pleasure.
We will do it again, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
Thanks for joining us, Rhonda.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And happy birthday again.
And thank you. Thank you for that.
Good way to spend a birthday.
I think so. That's what I
shoot.
said to you when you suggested a Sunday, and June 5th, I go, yeah, that's my birthday. It's time for new beginnings.
All the best for many more.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. I totally appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
If you'd like to learn more, visit this website, helpmerhondanow.com. For Close-Up Television and Radio, I'm Jim Masters. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.